Your future is created by your daily choices and your mindset. And that may sound simple at first, but it carries a depth that can completely reshape the way you live your life. Every single day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you are making decisions, some small and barely noticeable, others big and life-changing. The way you choose to spend your time, the way you respond to challenges, the thoughts you allow to stay in your mind, all of these quietly build the direction your life is heading toward. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, every action leaves a mark. Most people think the future is something distant, something that will arrive on its own, but the truth is the future is being built right now, in the present moment. When you decide to wake up early instead of hitting the snooze button, you are choosing discipline over comfort. When you decide to learn something new instead of scrolling endlessly, you are choosing growth over distraction. These choices may seem small, but repeated over time, they become habits. And habits shape your character, and your character shapes your destiny. Your mindset plays an equally powerful role in this process. The way you think determines how you act, and how you act determines what results you get. If you constantly tell yourself that you are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough, you will begin to believe it. And that belief will limit your actions. On the other hand, if you train your mind to see possibilities instead of obstacles, to see lessons instead of failures, you begin to move differently. You begin to take risks and you begin to grow. There will always be difficulties. There will always be moments when things do not go as planned, but your mindset decides whether those moments break you or build you. A negative mindset turns setbacks into excuses, while a strong mindset turns them into stepping stones. It is not about ignoring reality. It is about choosing how you respond to it. You can either let challenges define you, or you can use them to refine you. Consistency is where everything comes together. It is not what you do once in a while that defines your future. It is what you do every single day. Small positive actions repeated over time create powerful results. Even on days when you feel unmotivated, even on days when progress seems slow, continuing to move forward makes a difference. Progress does not have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent. At the end of the day, you are the author of your life story. No one else can make your choices for you, and no one else can think your thoughts for you. When you take responsibility for your decisions and your mindset, you take control of your future. It may not change overnight, but with time, effort, and belief, it will change in ways you never thought possible. That growth requires intentional effort, not waiting for perfect conditions, and this is where many people lose valuable time without even realizing it. There is a common belief that success begins when everything is in place, when the timing feels right, when resources are available, and when confidence is at its peak. But the truth is, those perfect conditions rarely, if ever, arrive. Life is unpredictable. Circumstances are never fully under control, and if you keep waiting for everything to align, you may end up waiting forever. Intentional effort means choosing to move forward despite uncertainty. It means taking action even when you do not feel completely ready, even when doubt is present, and even when the path ahead is unclear. Growth begins the moment you decide that progress matters more than comfort. It is a conscious decision to invest your time, energy, and focus into becoming better than you were yesterday. One of the biggest obstacles to growth is the idea of perfection. People often delay their actions because they want everything to be flawless before they begin. They want the perfect plan, the perfect moment, the perfect mindset, but perfection is an illusion, and chasing it only leads to hesitation. Real growth is messy. It involves mistakes, failures, and learning curves. It requires you to accept that you will not get everything right the first time, and that is completely okay. When you act intentionally, you shift your focus from outcomes to effort. Instead of worrying about whether you will succeed or fail, You concentrate on what you can do today. You break your goals into smaller, manageable steps, and you commit to taking those steps consistently. This approach removes the pressure of immediate results and replaces it with steady progress. Over time, those small efforts accumulate and they begin to create meaningful change. Waiting for perfect conditions often comes from fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. It feels safer to stay in a place of preparation rather than stepping into action. But staying still does not protect you. It only keeps you from growing. The only way to overcome fear is by facing it, by taking action in its presence. Confidence is not something you wait to feel. It is something you build through doing. Growth also requires patience. Intentional effort does not always produce instant results, and that can be discouraging. There will be times when it feels like your hard work is not paying off, when progress is slow, and when motivation fades. But this is where discipline becomes important. Discipline keeps you going when motivation disappears. It reminds you that growth is a long-term process, not a quick fix. Another important part of intentional effort is learning from your experiences. Every step you take, whether successful or not, teaches you something valuable. Instead of seeing mistakes as setbacks, you begin to see them as opportunities to improve. This mindset allows you to adapt, to refine your approach, and to continue moving forward with greater clarity. In the end, growth is not about waiting for life to become easier. It is about becoming stronger within the life you already have. It is about using what is available to you right now rather than focusing on what is missing. When you stop waiting for perfect conditions and start putting in intentional effort, you take control of your journey. And that is where real transformation begins, not in perfection, but in consistent, purposeful action. Challenges and setbacks are opportunities to become stronger, even though in the moment they rarely feel that way. When difficulties arise, the first reaction is often frustration, disappointment, or even the urge to give up. It can feel like progress has been interrupted, like all the effort you put in has been wasted. But what if those moments are not stopping you, but shaping you, preparing you for something greater than you can currently see? Every challenge carries a lesson, and every setback carries a hidden strength. When things go wrong, you are forced to think differently, to adapt, and to find new ways forward. This process builds resilience, which is one of the most valuable qualities a person can have. Without challenges, there would be no reason to grow, no reason to push beyond your limits, and no reason to discover what you are truly capable of. It is easy to feel strong when everything is going well, when results are coming easily and confidence is high. But true strength is revealed in difficult times when things are uncertain and outcomes are unclear. It is in those moments that you learn how to keep going, how to stay focused, and how to believe in yourself even when there is no immediate proof that things will work out. Setbacks also teach patience. In a world where people often expect quick results, challenges remind you that meaningful progress takes time. They slow you down, forcing you to reflect, to reassess your approach, and to build a stronger foundation. Instead of rushing forward without direction, you begin to move with purpose and understanding. Another powerful aspect of challenges is that they build emotional strength. Facing difficulties helps you manage stress, control your reactions, and develop a sense of inner stability. You begin to realize that not every situation is within your control, but your response always is. This realization gives you a sense of power because it shifts your focus from external circumstances to internal growth. Setbacks also help you gain clarity. When something does not go as planned, it gives you an opportunity to evaluate what worked and what did not. You learn to identify your weaknesses and turn them into areas of improvement. This process is not always comfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Without it, you would continue repeating the same mistakes without ever evolving. There is also a certain confidence that comes from overcoming challenges. Each time you face a difficulty and push through it, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This builds a deeper level of self-belief, one that is not based on easy wins, but on real experiences. Over time, this confidence becomes a foundation that supports you in future challenges, making you less afraid and more prepared. It is important to understand that challenges are not meant to break you. They are meant to build you. They are part of the journey, not obstacles to it. The way you choose to see them makes all the difference. If you view them as barriers, you may feel stuck and discouraged. But if you view them as opportunities, you begin to approach them with a different mindset, one that is focused on growth and possibility. In the end, strength is not something you are born with. It is something you develop experience. Every setback, every difficulty, every moment of struggle adds to that strength. It shapes your character, sharpens your mindset, and prepares you for what lies ahead. When you start to embrace challenges instead of fearing them, you unlock a new level of growth, one that continues to push you forward no matter what comes your way. Consistent habits shape long-term success, and this idea holds more power than most people realize. Success is often seen as something big, something dramatic, something that happens all at once, but in reality, it is built quietly over time through repeated actions. What you do every day, even the smallest things, gradually forms the results you experience in your life. It is not one moment of effort that defines your future. It is the pattern of effort you maintain over days, weeks, months, and years. Habits are the foundation of this process. They are the actions you perform automatically without needing to think too much about them. When your habits are aligned with your goals, they push you forward even on days when you feel unmotivated. This is why consistency matters more than intensity. You do not need to do something extraordinary once in a while. You need to do something meaningful regularly. Small efforts repeated consistently create momentum, and momentum leads to progress. One of the challenges people faces is underestimating the impact of small actions. Skipping one day of effort may seem harmless, just like making one positive choice may seem insignificant. But over time, these small decisions accumulate. A single missed effort turn into a pattern of inconsistency, just as a single positive action can turn into a productive habit. The direction of your life is often determined by these repeated choices, not by occasional bursts of motivation. Consistency also builds discipline, which is essential for long-term success. Motivation comes and goes. It is not something you can rely on every day. There will be times when you do not feel like putting in the effort, when distractions are more appealing, and when progress feels slow. Discipline is what keeps you moving forward during those times. It is the commitment to continue regardless of how you feel in the moment. Another important aspect of consistent habits is that they make growth sustainable. When you rely on extreme effort or sudden bursts of energy, it becomes difficult to maintain progress. You may achieve short-term results, but they are often followed by burnout or inconsistency. On the other hand, when you build steady, manageable habits, you create a system that supports long-term development. This approach allows you to grow without overwhelming yourself. Consistent habits also strengthen your identity. The more you repeat a behavior, the more it becomes a part of who you are. If you consistently choose to learn, you begin to see yourself as someone who values knowledge. If you consistently put in effort, you begin to see yourself as someone who is disciplined and committed. This shift in identity reinforces your habits, making them easier to maintain over time. That it is also important to recognize that consistency does not mean perfection. There will be days when things do not go as planned, when you miss a step, or when you fall short of your expectations. What matters is not avoiding mistakes, but turning to your habits as quickly as possible. Long-term success is built on persistence, not perfection. Patience plays a key role in this process as well. Results from consistent habits are not always immediate. In the beginning, progress may feel slow, almost invisible. But over time, the effects begin to compound, and what once seems small becomes significant. This is where many people give up because they do not see instant results. However, those who remain consistent eventually reach a point where their efforts start to pay off in noticeable ways. In the end, success is not something that happens overnight. It is something that is built step by step through consistent habits. Your daily actions are shaping your future, whether you realize it or not. When you focus on building positive, consistent routines, you create a path that leads to long-term growth and achievement. It is not about doing everything perfectly. It is about showing up, putting in the effort, and continuing forward one day at a time. Believing in yourself and taking action is the key to transformation, because without belief, action loses its direction. And without action, belief remains nothing more than a thought. These two forces must work together to create real change in your life. Many people have dreams, ideas, and goals, but what separates those who transform their lives from those who stay the same is the combination of self-belief and the willingness to act on it. Believing in yourself is not about thinking you are perfect or that you will never fail. It is about trusting that you have the ability to learn, to grow, and to overcome challenges. It is about recognizing your potential even when you have not fully realized it yet. This kind of belief does not always come naturally. It is something that must be developed over time through experience, effort, and persistence. There will be moments of doubt, moments where you question your abilities, but choosing to believe in yourself despite those doubts is what makes the difference. At the same time, belief alone is not enough. You can spend years telling yourself that you are capable, but if you never take action, nothing will change. Action is what turns possibility into reality. It is the step that moves you from thinking about your goals to actually pursuing them. Even small actions can create momentum. And once that momentum builds, it becomes easier to keep going. One of the biggest barriers to taking action is fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making mistakes. These fears can be powerful, and they often hold people back from even starting. But the truth is, fear does not disappear before you act. It begins to fade after you act. When you take that first step, even if it is small, you start to realize that fear is not as strong as it seemed. Each action you take weakens that fear and strengthens your confidence. Transformation is not an instant process. It is a journey that unfolds over time. It requires consistent effort, patience, and a willingness to keep going even when progress feels slow. There will be setbacks, there will be moments where things do not go as planned, but this is where belief becomes essential. When you believe in yourself, you do not see failure as the end, you see it as part of the process. You understand that every mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve. Taking action also helps you discover your true capabilities. There are strengths within you that you may not be aware of until you challenge yourself. When you step outside your comfort zone and try new things, you begin to uncover what you are truly capable of achieving. This discovery builds a deeper level of confidence, one that is based on real experience rather than assumptions. At the same time, belief alone is not enough. You can spend years telling yourself that you are capable, but if you never take action, nothing will change. Action is what turns possibility into reality. It is the step that moves you from thinking about your goals to actually pursuing them. Even small actions can create momentum. And once that momentum builds, it becomes easier to keep going. One of the biggest barriers to taking action is fear. fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of making mistakes. These fears can be powerful, and they often hold people back from even starting. But the truth is, fear does not disappear before you act. It begins to fade after you act. When you take that first step, even if it is small, you start to realize that fear is not as strong as it seemed. Each action you take weakens that fear and strengthens your confidence. Transformation is not an instant process. It is a journey that unfolds over time. It requires consistent effort, patience, and a willingness to keep going even when progress feels slow. There will be setbacks, there will be moments where things do not go as planned, but this is where belief becomes essential. When you believe in yourself, you do not see failure as the end, you see it as part of the process. You understand that every mistake is an opportunity to learn and improve. Taking action also helps you discover your true capabilities. There are strengths within you that you may not be aware of until you challenge yourself. When you step outside your comfort zone and try new things, you begin to uncover what you are truly capable of achieving. This discovery builds a deeper level of confidence, one that is based on real experience rather than assumptions. Another important aspect of transformation is responsibility. When you believe in yourself and take action, you begin to take ownership of your life. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change, and you start creating change on your own. This shift in mindset is powerful because it puts you in control of your direction. It is also important to understand that transformation does not require perfect conditions. You do not need to have everything figured out before you begin. What matters is that you start, that you take that first step and then continue to move forward. Progress may be slow at times, but every step you take brings you closer to the person you want to become. In the end, believing in yourself and taking action is what turns dreams into reality. It is what transforms ideas into achievements and potential into results. When you combine confidence with effort, you create a powerful force that can change your life. It is not about waiting for the right moment. It is about creating it through your actions and trusting that you have what it takes to succeed. In the end, everything comes back to one simple truth. Your future is not something that is decided for you. It is something you build with your own hands through your choices, your mindset, and your actions. The life you dream about is not out of reach. It is being shaped right now in the small decisions you make every single day. Whether you choose growth or comfort, discipline or excuses, belief or doubt, each path leads you somewhere, and it is up to you to decide where that somewhere will be. There will be challenges, there will be setbacks, and there will be moments when the journey feels difficult. But those moments are not there to stop you. They are there to strengthen you. They are shaping your character, building your resilience, and preparing you for greater opportunities ahead. Growth will never wait for perfect conditions, and success will never come from occasional effort. It is built through consistent habits, through showing up even when it is hard, and through staying committed even when progress feels slow. Most importantly, transformation begins the moment you start believing in yourself and taking action. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. You do not need to have everything figured out. You just need the courage to begin and the determination to continue. Because once you take responsibility for your life, once you decide that you are in control of your direction, everything starts to change. So as you move forward, remember this, your future is calling you, and it is shaped by what you do today. Choose wisely, act boldly, stay consistent, and never stop believing in your ability to become more. The power to change your life has always been within you. Now it is time to use it.